city news to your living room. This is the SNN Weekly Report.
Good evening, and welcome to the SNN Weekly Report. I'm Lisa Clearwaters.
And I'm Torvin Tiger, broadcasting from this remote temporary location. This is a very hard broadcast to make, folks. A series of tragedies have befallen SNN in the past couple of weeks. On top of losing a cherished member of the SNN family, Jared Brine, an even greater tragedy hit SNN just a few days ago when the murderous terrorist group Avalanche demolished the SNN tower using explosives. Hundreds of innocent people are injured, and a rough count of 152 people were killed in this horrific tragedy. Among the fallen people, our very own weatherman, Thomas Johnson, was found in the wreckage. Tom, you will be missed.
SNN wishes to send out a very special thank you to the men and women of Shinra who came and saved as many of our friends and colleagues as they possibly could. There is no doubt that if it hadn't been for the courageous efforts of Shinra, the death toll would have been much higher. And to those rebel forces out there who caused this horrific event, make no mistake that you will be brought to justice for what you've done. The men and women who lost their lives due to your senselessness were innocent civilians. You can go ahead and make your claims about caring about the citizens. This attack proves that you are nothing but murderous liars. I'm sorry, I can't finish
Lisa.
this. I have
Lisa!
to go.
It's okay. Go to commercial break. Now!
Come to Cactuar Bell today. We have many different foods for you to choose from. Try our double-decker Supreme today or of beefy de quesadilla for only 4 kg. We also have our new Chocobo Chalupa for 6 kg. Add a refreshing Costa Cooler and a mini empanada to make it a meal. We have the most delicious meals you will find, only at Cactuar Bell. Arriba!
This week had many losses on all sides. Local civilian legend and accountant at Gutter Runners, Steve Smith, was killed over the weekend when a man came in to rob the facility. He heroically stayed to try and protect the place, but sustained head trauma and was pronounced dead later that day. Steve was a light in the darkness. He was hailed for his wonderful work ethics and reliability, only ever late when he had to help people on his long way to work. A hard worker, he worked to help pay for his wife to continue college and provide for his 2 sons and daughter. He was also a beloved member of the suicide hotline for many people who depended on his warm, encouraging words. In his free time, he and his children would visit the orphans and bring them to show them love and to give them a full meal. Steve was also a brave member of Midgar's volunteer fire department who risked his life in several disasters, saving fellow citizens and families. Many owe him their lives. Steve Smith was a fine example of our standing Midgar citizenship, and his work will live on forever in the hearts of all those who knew him.
Our own SNN tower is not the only place to be hit by the rebels during their terror. Earlier this week, Metalloid Studio was hit in what officials are calling a coordinated attack. Shinra arrived on the scene to find the studio bombed. On top of the bombing, they later found Secretary Mina Thomason inside with a bullet to the head. Miss Thomason, a single mother, leaves behind 2 young boys who are now staying with the orphanage. But the terror doesn't end there. The biggest surprise was yet to come as shortly later that week, Avalanche managed to collapse the tunnels in yet another bombing, sealing off the slums and halting any transportation to and from the upper and lower Midgar. With more on that disaster, we turn it over to our field reporter, Kiki Meccano. Kiki?
Thank you, Lisa. Tensions are high and rubble is even higher after a massive battle in the slums created a traveler's headache and an even bigger source of trouble for Shinra's urban development. After a long, bloody fight between Avalanche and Shinra forces with terrible casualties on both sides, the city itself felt the weight of the conflict as the train tunnels between the Sector 7 slums and the plague collapsed. This has separated the 2 sides of the city, making travel between almost impossible. Families have been torn apart, commerce to the slums has all but stopped, and countless lives have been put on hold. Displaced civilians are retreating to the risky wastelands, as even the dangerous outskirts of town are safer than the war-torn Sector 7 slums. Not just the train tunnels have been affected. The canals throughout Sector 7 have been drained, and there are reports of flooding in the underplate, further blocking transit between areas of the city. Shinra Urban Development has been hard at work fixing the tunnels, and the trains are expected to be back on track, both physically and figuratively, by the end of the night. I'm Kiki Makano with Shinra News Network. Back to you in the studio, Lisa.
As reported, several civilians were either trapped inside the slums or forced to evacuate outside into the wastelands, including the children of the orphanage. Shinra had attempted to evacuate civilians to the upper plate, but the helicopter was forced to crash land after being shot at while taking off. The victims of the crash included Metalloid's band member DJ Trouble, causing some people to speculate that the pop group has been targeted by the terrorist organization. No word on their condition yet.
This week, our weather will be pretty stable and unchanging. We are experiencing warm weather for the most of the week, with the exception of a few minor drops in the middle of the week. We're going to start the week off with a nice 74 on Sunday and Monday, 76 on Tuesday, 70 on Wednesday, 68 on Thursday, then back up to 72 on Friday and Saturday. A nice week to take a dip in the pool or start up those grills. We're going to take a short break, so stick around.
We are the strong. We are the brave. The elite. For decades, Shinra military have dedicated their lives to protecting our citizens and our future. We fight for a better tomorrow. Shinra military. Join the ranks of heroes. This message was made by the Shinra Life.
Welcome back. Last week, a new Miss Midgar was officially crowned. Miss Sai Lin, a former winner, hosted the competition as 8 female contestants showed off their swim and formal wear, as well as their special talents and thoughts on current events. On top of our traditional stage show, this year was the first year the competition included an online Miss Virtual Midgar contest for those who could not be there in person. Our virtual Miss Midgar winners were runner-up winners Kanu Unchu and Taylin Amel. The grand prize winner of the virtual Miss Midgar competition went to Florencia Elizondo. And for the live competition, our runner-up was Miss Hero Avalon. Our new 2018 Miss Midgar winner goes to Miss Sakiri Hanako. Congratulations to all of our female contestants.
In other news, we'd like to welcome to the SNN family Ms. Coraline Excelsia. She will be our new running CEO. Welcome to the family, Ms. Excelsia. A bit of hopeful news. Not all the victims of the recent slum wars have met unhappy endings. A local orphanage who were displaced in the wastelands after the war broke out were rescued by brave members of Soldier. While resources and transportation were already stretched thin, the courageous efforts of Soldier manages to get what they could together and evac the children and their matron to safety on the upper plate. They are currently providing shelter and food to the orphans until it is safe for them to return to their homes. Before we go tonight, we would like to have a small tribute to our fallen co-workers, those who we lost. They will never be forgotten and will always live in our hearts. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Take care, everybody. Hey, amigo, ¿tienes hambre? Come to Quactar Bell and try a new chocobo chalupa. 3 layers of habichuelas, tomates, lechuga y arroz debajo de un montón de queso y juicy grilled chocobo. Add some churros y cacturis and make it a meal. Only at Quactar Bell.